Now, after understanding the postulates and the main features of the VBT, let us now find out how these atomic orbitals overlap, and let us see the directional properties of the orbitals and how their overlapping takes place on the basis of this. So, directional properties of bonds. See, what does it mean is, since we know the atomic orbitals are directional, how they overlap also makes a lot of difference. Like, let us take example of, see, in VBT, or the overlapping can be of, it can be mainly of overlapping three types. Overlapping of s orbitals with s orbital, ss overlapping. Overlapping of s with p orbital, which is called sp overlapping, and similarly pp overlapping. Let us see these overlappings one by one so that we can find out how they overlap. This is one of the s orbitals of this one of the molecular species. Like we can take the example of hydrogen molecule, and this is the s of the another atom, and this is how they can overlap. Now, this extent of overlapping, what we get here in this case, this extent of overlapping is the one which is going to decide how strong the bond is. And remember, this is the internuclear axis we are having, and this SS overlapping is what we can say that since it is they are spherical in shape, overlapping is very fine. So SS bond is also a very strong bond. So this is what we can have, SS overlapping, SS overlapping. Let us see the sp overlapping. Sp overlapping. The example we can take of the sp overlapping is the formation of HF, hydrogen fluoride. Now, what we get in this case is a smaller hydrogens S and the p orbital of fluorine. This is fluorine, this is hydrogen. They overlap like this. Now, this is the area where they get overlapped. And this is your internuclear axes. So again, since they are in the same direction, what we can say is they have what the direction of the overlapping orbitals along each other. The overlapping is taking place to a great extent. The bond is formed. In a very similar way, if we find that there is an overlapping of this S with some, of course, this will be of course your px, 2px orbital. If it is along your is between your 2py or it is along your 2pz orbital, then what will happen is, then what we notice is this overlapping will not be good, or this overlapping will not be taking place at all. So this is what is the directional nature of the bonds, is that the orbitals must be having the same directions of overlapping. Another important thing, let us see the other example of pp overlapping. Now, the example of the pp overlapping can be a chlorine-chlorine molecule Cl2. Now, in this, what happens is this p of the one of the chlorine atoms overlaps the p of the other chlorine atoms. What we find is that since they are overlapping, they are in the same direction, extent of overlapping is very large. That's why this pp overlapping is very strong. This is happening along the internuclear axis. So this overlapping is very strong, and that's why chlorine-chlorine or the bonds which are involving the pp overlapping are very, very strong. Now, on the basis of these type of overlappings, what we find is the bonds, covalent bonds, can be of two types.